Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is your
in-swinging ball, headed down, tied at one.
Photo News Fix. This fix is brought to you by me and FroPak 3, which will be going off of sale as soon as FroPak 4 is released. That's right, FroPak 4 is in its final testing phase, and if you haven't gotten FroPak 3 just yet, you can still grab it for the discounted price of $30. And when FroPak 4 comes out, FroPak 3 will be going up to $50. To get it at the discounted price, head on over to FroKnowsPhoto.com/FroPak3. First up, Canon Rumors has been doing a lot of posting recently, and it's starting to look more like, well, Sony Alpha Rumors, who shares every single garbage rumor that ever comes out. There's rumors about an R5 Mark II, 200 f2, and even a follow-up to the 28-70 f2 RF. Let's start off by discussing the first rumor, the one saying that the R5 Mark II might go to 60 megapixels up from 45, followed by, I would take the following information with a grain of salt. Is this true? Might we see 60 over 45? Is 60 even needed in this camera? Now, I think the R5 is one of the most versatile still/video cameras around for pros because I know a lot of sports photographers who choose it over the R3 simply so they can crop. The high ISO noise performance is amazing, the video is fantastic, we're still using them here in the studio right now, and a Mark II would only make it better. If Canon goes with a 60 megapixel sensor, let's hope they're able to capture the same high ISO performance as the original one. Now the next rumor is in regard to a patent for a 200 f2. Now that would be a baller RF lens. Now I'll be all over that one from day one. The biggest questions would be is the size.
That's what she said.
The filing says it's 184 millimeters long, which is just over 7 inches, which is like this big.
That's what he said.
For reference, the 70-200 2.8 RF, when fully engorged, is 8 inches long. Now there is no word on weight or price just now, but if I had to guess, it would come in around $3,500, and I'd buy one. And the third rumor from Canon Rumors this week is that we might be seeing another zoom f2 lens in 2024. Now, one reason I switched from Sony to Canon was the 28-70 f2. It's a lens like nothing I've ever used before. But what would be the next f2 zoom?
I don't know.
Would it be a 70-180, or perhaps for the size and weight purposes, it would only be a 70-135? Any way you slice it, it would be a unique and amazing lens that is bound to cost a pretty penny and end up in my camera bag. My only concern is I love the 85 1.2 and the 135 1.8, and I would hate to stop using those because of an f2 zoom. Thoughts? Let me know down below. Podcast? Have you listened to FroKnowsPhoto Raw Talk just yet? Comes out every Friday wherever you get your podcasts. It's raw, like me. And finally, in another win for Nikon, Tamron has announced the development of the 35-150 f2 to 2.8 lens for the Z mount. Salty. Though come to think of it, how much development is actually needed for a lens that's already out for Sony's E mount? Oh, and why isn't this lens branded Nikon like the other Nikon/Tamron made lenses? Nonetheless, being this is just a development announcement, Tamron didn't have review samples just yet, but luckily for all you guys, I fully tested it out on the Sony E-mount version, and this is the closest thing to one lens to rule them all.
The darkness finds them.
The professional solution for that. What I mean by that is there's been mega zoom lenses before, but they always have terrible apertures. This is an f2 to 2.8, which I consider to be pro. You've got a 35 f2 on the widest end, and out at 150, it goes to 2.8. Sure, you miss out slightly on the wider angle, but when I used the E-mount one at a concert, it gave me everything I wanted in terms of range. Now, there's a few things I noticed in my testing of that Sony version. One, the focus was fine, but in some situations it felt like it lacked that critical sharpness. I also felt the contrast and color wasn't as vibrant as a G Master lens, but that's always going to be expected with a lot of third-party glass. Now what I can say is I actually purchased one for the Sony with the idea that it would be the perfect travel lens when I go away. Then I switched to Canon and it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. The Sony version was priced at $18.99 and I would expect that Nikon's would be priced around the same. I also expect this mirrorless lens to sell like hotcake to those people who want one lens to rule them all for when they're traveling or doing whatever they're doing, but probably not for nature.
Christy.
And there you have it, Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.